Hey guys, today I'm going to talk about mistakes property investors make. Firstly, this isn't financial advice. Secondly, upon reading this script back, I think you can apply most of these concepts to anything to do with investing really. And thirdly, just to be clear, I think property is a great investment. I might sound a bit negative. It's just that over my 15 years experience in finance, I've learned a lot purely by observing the mistakes people make. I hope you enjoy. Please like, comment, and subscribe if you love the content. The first major mistake is that they have no idea what they want. In buying an investment property, it's crucial to first ask yourself, why am I buying this property? Buying something just because you think the price is going to go up in the future and you're going to have a pile of money at the end of it is not a smart strategy. If your strategy is to end up with a pile of money at the end of it, the strategy doesn't work for everyone. Inflation will generally eat your savings away. Your actual goal should be something that's realistic because you're more likely to achieve something that's realistic. This is where people go wrong straight away. They don't have a goal. A good goal would be to think long term and make sure that you have enough income for your retirement. Think of how much income you need in retirement to have a good life. For a property to be a good investment and get you an income upon retirement, you probably need to pay down a fair amount of debt. Every property investor's actual challenge is answering the questions, what are my goals? How should I think strategically to achieve my goals? Because then it will allow you to figure out how you're going to be able to strategize and what a particular property is going to do for you in the future. Nowadays, you need to be having 45 grand a year to live a comfortable life for a single and 70 grand for a couple. So if you're buying a property and thinking that you're going to have a pile of cash at the end of it, that's probably not going to work. Piles of cash don't work. Piles of cash is generally a lie. The reality is that this only works for a small minority of property investors. So before making a major decision of buying a property, ask yourself, how do I derive an income for myself and my family in retirement? Think long term, think for your whole life. Mistake number 2 that property investors make is they want to go all in on property. This is a common mistake. People come and consult with me because they want to go all in. They want to acquire a couple of $1 million of property, and they seem to have their hearts set on borrowing a couple of $1 million. I'm going to be blunt here. If you're just an average person, there's no way you can do it because an average income means that you're simply not going to be able to borrow a couple of $1 million in debt. There's legislation in place that basically says if you're earning an average income of $85,000 a year, there's no way you're going to be able to borrow a couple of $1 million. If you want to look it up, it's called DTI, which is short for debt to income ratio. Unfortunately, people believe the lies that they get told, which is sadly pushed around a lot in social media. Sadly, many people want to go all in and put all of their superannuation and use that for money to go and buy property as well. I'm sorry, but that just doesn't feel right to me. 100% of your wealth all in the one asset class seems foolish to me. At present, the property market's gone up by 30%. The problem is that if the property market craters, like in Japan in 1989, which has been recovering from then to basically today, it's going to punish your wealth. Do you have 33 years to get your wealth back? I'm not saying that Japan's going to happen here. I just want to expose the risks of not diversifying. There are good stories passed down from generation to generation. And they're good not because they're fun, but because they have meaning to them and they stand the test of time. And the whole thing with going in 100% into property is you've got a tale that says, don't put all your eggs in the one basket. That story's been around literally for hundreds of years for a good reason, which is if you put all your eggs into one basket, you might get wiped out. I know there's going to be a lot of naysayers out there, but history also disagrees with them. They may be looking at the property market going up for the last 30 years, and that's great. But has it gone up all the time non-stop? So be a fan of diversification. That is built-in protection. As a property investor, you must understand the limitations that are ahead of you. It will allow you to stand back and understand that for you to achieve these larger goals, You need to be smart about the types of investments and the strategies you choose. Mistake number 3 I see property investors make is their mindset. Many people nowadays want and think it's possible to make $1 million overnight. People who have done that are more likely entrepreneurs, and they've probably actually spent a lifetime of trying to make it happen. But one thing is for sure, you can't just buy a property and sit on it and think you're going to be rich. The idea of doing nothing and becoming wealthy is stupid to me. The first step in improving your mindset is to comprehend the concept of compound. Consistently working and focusing on property investment will do you good over a long period of time. Your time spent, your time learning, and your experiences will eventually compound your knowledge. Eventually, your investments will start outperforming everyone else. So get away from the idea of passive investing, which is basically doing nothing and expecting something in return. In real life, people who get rich in property are those that are constantly doing it because their experience is compounded. They can find the value in the opportunities that are always there and exploit those opportunities to make money out of them. Whether you're a millennial or you're over 40 who's starting out in property investment, set your mindset on important things like putting your house in order first. Don't let your personal finances become a pile of trash by spending willy-nilly and having a lot of credit cards and car loans that will just punish your capacity to save cash. If there's one sure way to not get rich, it's to do all these things and give interest to whoever's lending you the money. It's time to be very responsible with your money. Success is sequential here. The more tighter you are with your living expenses means the more you can reduce your debt and the more investments you can acquire. The more cash you've got means the more opportunities you can access. That's it, guys. That's the 3 mistakes I see property investors make. You might think I'm negative on property. I'm not. I think property is a magnificent asset class. I just think we live in a time where people are looking at the positives and not necessarily weighing up the negatives properly. I'd love to hear your thoughts here, where you agree, where you disagree with me. I'd love to hear it all. If you want to discuss property investing, you can also tee up a time with me. Always happy to chat. Cheers.